Ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored again to be in your living rooms this Thursday evening. Dr. Joseph Gavin Nyanzi, your host tonight on our week's favorite show, the Doc Talk Show, where we talk health, and health. Because we know your health is your wealth. So it is our focus on this show to bring to you issues that are of importance regarding your health, so you'll be able to take care of your wealth. And a special recognition this evening to our producers, the Quiz Mali team, that do a very wonderful job. Actually, they are based in town for all your videography needs, your documentaries, and all those things to do with your videography. Quiz Mali, thank you so much for making this show available to all Ugandans tonight. And this evening, it is a very special one. Last month, we're celebrating the World Breastfeeding Day. Yeah. And our host tonight will be telling us more about that day and will be telling us more about breastfeeding. I know you've heard some months ago or years ago in Uganda, especially in eastern Uganda, where men or husbands were competing with their babies for breast milk. And a few weeks ago, we were reading in the news about the same problem happening in Tanzania. Our guest tonight is going to help us shed more light. Is it the husband or the baby that does need the breast milk? Tonight, we are privileged to have Mrs. Fiona Masika Ndambuki. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Mrs. Fiona Ndambuki is a nurse by profession, and she's the CEO and founder of Ma Anza Cares Foundation. She'll be telling us about that. But then besides being a nurse, she has also gone ahead to do more studies to do with breastfeeding. So she's a breastfeeding professional as well as a lactation consultant. She has taken off time to study those things. So tonight we have the best concerning breastfeeding. So Fiona,
yes, please.
Tell us about Ma Anza Cares Foundation.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Joseph, for that. Ma Anza Cares Foundation is basically something that I founded after I had issues with breastfeeding when I just given birth to my daughter. So I founded this organization or foundation that to help and support mothers who are going through or who are facing challenges with breastfeeding. So that is what we do. And not only do we do breastfeeding, we also help with child nutrition from the ages of, after they have made 6 months, the transitioning, then to five years. Yes. So basically that is what we do. We help and support mothers and children with nutrition.
Where are you located?
Our offices are in Woyogerere.
Okay.
On the building of the local council offices. That's where our offices are.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. So please tell us about breast milk. What is breast milk? I don't want to take it for granted that actually all our viewers know what breast milk is, what is the content of breast milk, and why breast milk for the baby.
Breast milk is one, most of us, I think we have grown up knowing what breast milk is, that milk that comes out of the breast of a woman after giving birth. Basically, that is what we know. Oh, we have seen mothers actually putting babies on the breast and we think they are taking breast milk. But actually there is more to breast milk that I think we shall ever know. This is one of the most unique thing that has ever happened to humankind. So it is a full packaged food, only meant and designed for a newborn child. Yes, so it has so many things in it, like so many contents in it. There is it has the biggest percentage of it is water, of course. Then it has nutrients, it has fats, the carbohydrates, enzymes, and hormones. Yes, and all that make it a full package and make it very edible or very consumable for a new child or a newborn. Yes, basically that is what I think we need to know about breastfeeding.
Oh, that is really Amazing. All those things in one product.
That
For
is
me, this
true.
makes me think about how great a designer God is. He
It's
has
amazing.
catered
It is
for
amazing.
the human being right from day one.
I'm telling you, that is all a baby, a newborn needs. Nothing else, because everything that the child needs, whether nutrients, anything to help a child grow, anything to help the child's organs grow, is in breast milk. There is nothing else that a child needs at that age or at that stage.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's why I know, actually, it is recommended, even
Yes.
through the guidelines of Ministry of Health,
and
for the
WHO.
first 6 months of every baby, they should have nothing else apart from
Yes.
breast milk.
According to the guidelines of our World Health Organization, exclusive breastfeeding is recommended up to 6 months.
Okay.
Exclusive. That means we do not put anything, we do not supplement or help the mother to give, to give the baby anything. No, it is exclusively breast milk. Everything that the child needs for the child to reach 6 months is in the breast milk.
So what are the advantages? Tell us what it contains. What are the advantages of breast milk to the baby?
It's amazing. When you look at the advantages, it doesn't only benefit the child or the baby. It actually benefits even the mother. It actually also benefits the community around. So to the child, apart from getting nutrients and, having all those antibodies that help to boost the immunity, and also giving the, it also contains cells, live cells. Actually, breast milk is actually a living tissue.
Okay.
It has cells, and these cells help either in boosting immunity. Some of them also help in improving or maintaining the development of the baby's organs.
Okay.
Yes. So apart from all that, improving the immunity, giving the child the nutrients that they need, it also benefits the mother. Every time the mother breastfeeds, the mother loses some calories.
Okay.
And also helps to maintain the weight.
Okay.
Then it also helps to balance hormones within the mother's body.
Okay.
Then it also helps to bring back the uterus back to its normal size. The more you breastfeed, the more it stabilizes your body as a mother. To the community, there's a lot we can gain from breastfeeding. It does not affect the environment. We do not, like we have to throw wastes around the compound, tins and cups, No, it is very eco-friendly for the environment. It also helps in spacing. You don't have to, have so many children in the house, things like that. Also cost-effective.
So you mean breastfeeding is another measure of contraception or family planning?
Yes, it is. It's actually one of the recommended. Even WHO recommends it as a contraceptive method for mothers or parents to use.
So the more a mother breastfeeds, they can delay conception.
It actually helps to delay the conception of this next stage of our child.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
This is really amazing. And God had all this planned. Because, I've seen a number of products on the market that usually mothers, try to give in the place of breast milk. But I've realized that none of them comes as close to breast milk.
You're very right. There will be nothing. And that is one of the misconceptions that is going on. Most of the myths that are going on around with breast milk or breastfeeding is that they will bring all these things which we want to be equivalent to breast milk. But to tell you the truth, there is nothing that can, tap breast milk. Because everything, and like I was sharing with you earlier, there is something I went for a course a few days ago, and they were telling us that one of the contents of breast milk are oligosaccharides, and these are not digested by the child's gut. They are meant for the normal microbiome for the child, so that in case the child gets any of that,
any infection,
that takes care of. So you can imagine anything that the child needs is in breast milk. How wonderful is that?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, our viewers out there, I hope you're listening in real close. And these are the advantages.
Yes.
The reasons why we should all be champions of breastfeeding. The fathers and husbands listening out there, you should be the ones pushing your wives and the mothers of your children to do the breastfeeding. The mothers, elderly women and elderly men, this is the message you should be taking around to your children that have got children. We will be taking a break in a moment, but we'll be back. But as we go for a break, please call your friend, remind them that we are on this Thursday evening. It is the Doc Talk Show. Please share the link from our social media platforms. That is Facebook, the Doc Talk Show, on YouTube, the Doc Talk Show. Share the link. Let none to your friend or family member miss out on this. See you in a moment.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that amidst the difficult times of the pandemic, routine immunization for all children under 5, those eligible for HPV vaccines, and women of childbearing age is still going on in all our health facilities. Parents and caregivers, take all your children for immunization as per their schedule. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Remember to observe the COVID-19 prevention measures as you go for immunization services. Wear a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water or use an alcohol-based sanitizer. Maintain a physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoid crowds. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from partners. You are watching the Doc Talk Show.
Be alert! Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
You are watching the Doc Talk Show.
For those that have just joined us, it is your favorite talk show, the Doc Talk Show, talking your health. And just reminding you, we are live right now, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And actually, you can leave your comments below the link. Any question you have, we will be able to get back to you. Our consultant in the studio tonight, Fiona, will be able to respond to those questions. Leave your comments and questions right in the link below and share with your friends. We are back. When we're breaking off, we are discussing the benefits of breast milk or breastfeeding. Fiona, yes. Last month, what day was it when you're celebrating the World Breastfeeding Day?
Actually, the whole month of August is a breastfeeding month.
Okay.
It's just that it's divided of different weeks.
Okay.
So the first week is like the world breastfeeding, then the second week is the indigenous women of the, like that. So it goes.
So August is the World
Breastfeeding Month.
We celebrate, we learn more about breastfeeding,
yes.
Encourage and
yes.
campaign for breastfeeding.
And our theme this year was breastfeeding is a shared responsibility, meaning it's not a one person thing.
Breastfeeding is a shared responsibility.
Yes.
Mothers out there, fathers, husbands out there, sisters and brothers out there, it is our role to promote breastfeeding. Even the leaders, political leaders, the health leaders, it is a shared responsibility because we know what it does for our babies and our children. Before we tackle the next segment of the show, in the past, mothers who are HIV positive were advised not to breastfeed. Yes. What is it today?
I think time has changed now, and medicine has changed. So it is very recommended. Even WHO or even the Ministry of Health recommends a mother or a family that is HIV positive, that is going through breastfeeding process, to go on and breastfeed, as long as there are some cautions that they need to keep in line. For example, the child has to be taking some kind of treatment, and the mother has to keep on treatment to avoid crossing the barrier of the breast milk. Yeah. Yes, so it is very well recommended. And
that is very true. Nowadays, ARVs have really done such a great job. Yeah. Children no longer get HIV from their mothers because of that treatment. If the mother is taking their drugs consistently and very well, and the virus is suppressed, there's no way the baby will get the virus from the mother's milk. So even for HIV positive mothers, as long as you're on treatment and the baby is given the treatment for the first few weeks, and for a couple of months, the baby is able to take exclusive breast milk
With routine
from the mother.
testings, that can also help to roll out.
Yeah, of course. The mother has to be in touch with the doctor or the hospital where she picks the medicine from. For the last 2 years, COVID-19,
Yes,
breastfeeding mother and the baby.
Oh yes. Now that is something that has come up, and there's a lot of research going on. But according to World Health, I think we medical workers try to at least follow the guidelines according to the World Health Organization.
That's
yes.
true.
And they have actually released research and released guidelines on how you can continue breastfeeding even through the COVID situation. So for mothers who have tested COVID positive or in areas that are so susceptible, or like there's a possibility of them to get COVID-19, they are encouraged to breastfeed as long as they get the vaccine, which is able to help them to keep their immunity strong and also be there for their children. Not only to keep them strong, but to be there so they can keep breastfeeding their children.
So even a COVID positive mother should continue breastfeeding their baby as long as they religiously follow the SOPs.
Yes.
Yes, the Uganda say omulungi tabulako kamogo, meaning that however good something is, there are usually some challenges or problems. For breastfeeding, actually, all of it are advantages. Yes. But then I know there are some challenges.
That's true.
What challenges? For example, in our society today, we are living in a society where mothers and fathers both have to work to make sure their families survive. So you're saying I'm supposed to breastfeed for 6 months exclusively. How do I pull it off? Corporate mother,
I know.
My job is 8 to 5 job. How will I take care of my baby? Give her breast milk all the day. And before we go there, how often is somebody supposed to breastfeed the baby? And then you bring on that issue.
Okay. Thank you for that. You're right. Even me, at some point, I was a working mother, and I had to, by that time, I'd given birth to my daughter, and she's now 3 years, so she's a big girl. But anyway, there are those challenges that we face, most especially like the very first-time mothers, like the very first-time mothers, those who have just given birth to their babies. The challenges they face mostly is even how often, that is one of the challenges. How often do I feed my child? The child, after you've given the breast, you've showered, the child sleeps and is very cozy, and then the child sleeps and you forget about, the child is sleeping, and the mother is like, I don't know, should I wake the child is sleeping? No, it doesn't matter. A recommended time for you to breastfeed your child is at least 2 hours to 3 hours. But somehow these days research has shown it is 1 hour to 2 to 3 hours, depending. So it depends. As long as you awake your child, even if they are sleeping, even if they're a bit fussy, as long as their diaper is not wet, and you can give the child the breast, and that will be able to calm them down, or to feed them every after 1 to 2 hours.
Wow, yes. Every after 1 to 2 hours.
Even if they are asleep, you awake them and put them, even if they refuse themselves, that is okay. But at least 1 to 2 to 3 hours, yes.
I am a banker. I work 8 to 5, and sometimes actually I stay in up to 7. I have to balance the money. How do I pull this off?
Now, those are the challenges that we are facing, and we are trying to, we as the breastfeeding professionals in Uganda, and my colleagues, we are trying to bring up some, discussions with either the government to allow such mothers either to extend their time or bring up hospital-friendly or like workplace-friendly environment for these parents so that they can either allow to go with their children and breastfeed. Because me, when I was working by that time, my employer was able to allow me to come with my daughter, and I was able to breastfeed. I did not miss any time. Yes, so those are some challenges. But if right now that there are no more, we have not yet had those, things put in place. We have encouraged mothers to do pumping.
Okay.
They do pumping, and then they leave their children, their babies at home. We educate them on how to store the breast milk, so they can also educate their helpers at home how to take care of the breast milk, when to how to warm it, when to put it in the fridge, things like that.
Fiona, please go there. Somebody wants to listen. How do they do the breast pumping? How is that milk kept? Yes,
we have all these guidelines on how you can keep or store breast milk, and there you can easily, like for example, if it is you're going to breastfeed in the next 1 hour to 3 hours, it is okay, you can leave it on a room temperature. You don't have to put it in the fridge. But if it's going to take for more like 3 hours or 4 hours and above, you put it in a freezer or in the fridge, depending.
Okay.
Yes, on the time. But usually these moms who are going to work, they usually come back in the evening. So we don't usually encourage putting a lot in the freezer so that it becomes ice. No, you put it like the first 3 hours, put it in a room temperature. The others in the fridge, warm it with very warm water. Don't put it in hot water because that can kill some of the enzymes and the bacteria in the cells. Okay. So you have to put it in warm water just to make it warm and then be able to be taken by the baby.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah.
Wow. And so does that mean that, for example, a mother who lives the whole day, do they separate different portions for the day?
Yes,
pack it separately?
Yes, if they can do that, that is very good.
Okay.
Yes, because, for example, I have a WhatsApp group, breastfeeding support group,
okay.
And I've encouraged mothers about pumping. I have equipped them with knowledge on how to store this milk, okay. And I think it's best to keep portions per hour, like, if you can, depending on how much you produce at that moment. Yeah, so yeah, it's good to keep portion, and even if the child leaves milk in the bottle, you can still store it in a very good area for the child to take in the next 1 hour, as long as it is safe and not put under direct heat.
Is there a place for breastfeeding in fighting colic, flu, and the likes in children?
Yeah, that is like, for example, like I said, it takes us back to the components of breast milk.
Okay.
Breast milk is so powerful, like it has all this that the child needs, that even if the child has a flu or cold, I have worked with some pediatricians here, and I was amazed at how they treat these things, these conditions when mothers come in with their kids. They don't just pump them with antibiotics. I was so amazed, and then the doctor says, please breastfeed your child. The breast milk has everything that the child needs. And after 2 days, 3 days, the mother comes back, is like, my child is very okay without any antibiotic.
Wow.
You get. So that pushed me to understand more about what is in this breast milk. So mothers out there, you have issues like flu, colds, colic. Colic is something that is normal. There's a biggest percentage of children have to go through this process, and it doesn't usually take more than a month. So it is a normal process that children go through, and breastfeeding helps to soothe the pain and the uncomfort that comes with colic. So it's very important for us to know that when our children have such kind of infection, unless there are maybe temperatures or complications or birth defects, things like that, that's when you need to see a pediatrician or maybe a specialist about it. But otherwise, breast milk, you are sorted as a mother.
Oh, Fiona, I wish I had known this 10 years ago.
No.
Anyway, thank you so much for this very wonderful information. I hope everybody watching us tonight, you're really being empowered. And when you're empowered, you don't stay with the information alone. You go and empower your community around you. That's how we change the world, a person at a time. We are taking a short break, and we'll be back. Please don't forget to share our link, The Dog Talk Show, on Facebook, The Dog Talk Show on YouTube.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that during this COVID-19 pandemic, we should not forget to take our children for immunization. Parents and caregivers are reminded that the immunization services are still accessible at all government health facilities. Please take your child for immunization on time. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Remember to observe the COVID-19 prevention measures as you go for immunization services. Wear a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water, or use an alcohol-based sanitizer. Maintain a physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoid crowds. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from partners. You are watching the Dog Talk Show.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home.
On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Uganda.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
You are watching the Doc Talk Show.
Thank you for keeping it with us this evening. The Doc Talk Show, live on Facebook and YouTube, the Doc Talk Show. And please, let's continue the chat in the link below. Yes, those of you that have just joined us, we are discussing breastfeeding. The month of August is celebrated worldwide as the Breastfeeding Month. And so we have a consultant tonight, Mrs. Fiona, who is a professional nurse as well as a lactation consultant. And we've been discussing breast milk. Yes. Before we broke off, we're discussing the challenges. And I don't know, looked at a working mother. How about a baby who has lost his mother in childbirth?
It's actually unfortunate that it happens due to different circumstances, but usually, like we said, like breast milk is the best packaged meal for a newborn child or baby. So right now, times have changed. Science has come up, with different researches and and confirmations about health. There are donations, breast milk donations that are going on right now. Yes.
Breast milk donations.
Yes.
Just like people donate blood.
They do.
So you can donate breast milk.
Yes.
Please take us on that.
I'm sure there's one in Zambia where you can actually get breast milk. One of the ladies that are on the WhatsApp group that I have actually reached out to me. She had twins and she had a little supply of breast milk, insufficient. It was not enough. So she was telling me, Mama Anza, I got milk, donated milk from Zambia, things like that. And it is working for her. And her children are now almost a year. Of course, with her supplementing her own, and she was able to get breast milk. Even in the hospital where she was able, some mothers around were able to bring in milk, things like that.
Amazing. So mothers watching us out there, actually, it is very possible to donate your excess breast milk so that you help some mothers who may not have enough, but you could also help that baby who has lost their mother. Yes.
And we have a group of the lactation consultants, and one of us actually has that. She actually collects and is able to donate breast milk to those people that need, or the babies that need breast milk. Yeah, so it is very possible, Mom, if you have extra, please. I remember those days when we used to have extra milk, we just stand in the sink and pour it. So please, if you're pouring milk, you're actually pouring someone's, future somewhere, which you would have donated to someone or to some baby, actually, and they can actually benefit from that.
This is very, very powerful. So we can actually continue to make a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
You could be saving a president somewhere who is not having enough breast milk.
Yes.
Yes. And so other challenges associated with breast milk?
I think the
breastfeeding.
Yes. The biggest challenge we get in our societies these days as to actually attain a successful breastfeeding process is we lack support.
Okay, as mothers.
As mothers, even as families. Actually, it's not only a mother that goes through a breastfeeding process. It is actually the whole family, the community around her. Because when the mother is not happy, and emotionally, down or physically down, the whole family will be affected.
That's right.
So we need these mothers, these families need support, and that is why we are here. Mama Anza is one of the reasons why we are here. Even other communities, other specialists have come up so that we can give you support. Do not go through this alone. Emotional support, physical support. We can educate your family members about the breastfeeding process. How can they be there for you? Again, sometimes you maybe just need to rest and the baby is there crying. Your family member can help you and you take a nap. And when you take a nap, that resting, there's that harmonizing of the hormones and the breast milk is able to come and the child has breast milk at all time. So mothers out there, families out there, do not suffer in pain. We are here to support you. You need support. We need support in this process so that we can attain successful breastfeeding.
Wow.
Yes.
And the new mothers,
Especially, yes.
This is a new area. They've not been there before.
Yes.
How do you help them? I know in some place, unfortunately, in some facilities where we go to receive care, antenatal care, these things are not given a lot of attention.
That's true.
But if somebody is pregnant for the first time, it's a whole new world. All the breastfeeding they have watched is in soaps, you know, and there's not a lot of information.
That's true.
So for a new mother, I know there's somebody watching me who is expecting, probably giving birth tonight or in a few weeks' time.
Yes.
What are the few tips you can give that mother? Just small tips, yes.
Okay.
About breastfeeding. When should we give the baby the first
the first milk
diet or dose of breast milk?
That's true. Now, first of all, let me talk about the being the first time mother. There's that challenge, there's that fear, or I don't know, like there's a way how they feel they are not able to do it. But I was also a first time mother at some point, and believe me, and a medical worker. And then I had a challenge with my breast. One of my breasts was unable to do what it's supposed to do because it had a flat nipple, and that emotionally tortured me. That emotionally messed me up. It messed the production of breast milk. It messed even up the baby. Every time I would put my child on the hold, I had to put on the breast, she would get fussy, and So those are the challenges that we are talking about. And believe me, you can do it as with the right support, and this is where we talk about helping and equipping medical workers or people who are in those sectors to give them knowledge on how to support or prepare mothers for the breastfeeding process, to know how is my breast, will it be able to breastfeed the way it's supposed to be, is there anything wrong that I need to correct before I start breastfeeding, things like that. How do you know that your nipple is everted? How do you know that your nipple is flat? How do you know that your breast is not going to be able to produce milk? Things like that. Those are the things that we are supposed to do before we start the breastfeeding process, so that we cannot have challenges with the production of breast milk.
Wow, this is amazing. And that's why you were talking about the Lactation Consultants Association of Uganda.
Yes, yes.
So actually people are taking it a notch higher to help us, to help the Ugandan children.
Yes.
People are taking it a little further to go and study deep and know and to help us. So any mother or expectant mother out there, these are the people to go to. And for us, the doctors, the nurses in practice, the midwives in practice, we are supposed to take it very seriously and give it attention, that actually we empower our mothers to do with breastfeeding.
It actually begins with us health workers.
Exactly.
It begins with us. A mother can come to you. If you don't have the knowledge, you're going to either mislead them.
Okay.
So, like you said, it begins with us. And actually, that is one of the objectives as the association, is that we are going to empower more health workers out there and give them knowledge and skills on how to challenge this thing, challenge or to overcome these challenges.
Wow.
Yes.
Are there any situations where, of course, we've talked about death of a mother. Are there any other conditions where actually breastfeeding is impeded for the baby?
Yes, yes.
Maybe conditions of the baby or the mother. Are there some of those conditions?
Yeah, some of them are actually more of medical.
Okay.
Like, for example, if the mother maybe underwent an operation of the breast, things like that, or maybe the glands, maybe there's, like, for example, like if there are lumps, if the mother is either is susceptible to be having cancer of the breast, it's going to affect the mammalian glands to produce what? Breast milk. Then there are other, apart from the medical conditions, there are other things like psychological. If the mother is not emotionally right, that affects production of breast milk, hence failing to breastfeed your child. So the emotional support is very important in this state. If the mother is very physically, right, the breasts are in right position to produce milk, then the emotion comes in second. So it's very important. There are other ways. It doesn't have to be only that over the breast has been cut off, or maybe you're sick with the breast, but other things like emotional support, physical support can actually affect you from breastfeeding your child.
Wow.
Yes.
So is it Manza, Anza, and other lactation consultants that are promoting husbands taking breast milk for the babies? It's a big problem.
That question was not going to come back.
What is happening? Husbands or fathers are seriously fighting for breast milk in the house. What's going on?
I honestly, medically, right now, because I want to think like a medical worker, I don't see the nutritious benefit of breast milk to this adult big man. You get it? Because like I said at the very beginning, breast milk is a packaged, full packaged food for a newborn. Anything that the child needs at that stage is in breast milk. And that is...
You're going to hold it there. When we come back in a minute, you're going to pick it up from there. Men that are competing with their babies for breast milk. That is a very serious thing.
You are watching the Doc Talk Show.
We have received so far the vaccines that we have right now in the country, 2,976,403. And these doses include AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and also we are previous months we are vaccinating. So far, the doses we have used both in Kampala and in the districts are 152,840. Now, these doses that we have received, we have also Moderna, they are about 600,000. These ones are going to be distributed in the districts. They also require some extreme temperatures. However, the advantage with Moderna is that they can be out of that extreme temperatures for some days, like they can even be kept at -15. And they can be used. That's why we are deploying them in the districts. In Kampala, we are going to distribute Pfizer because they require very, very negative, very low negative temperatures. Therefore, we don't have such kind of refrigeration or the cold chain equipment up country. So we are going to deploy these vaccines in Kampala, Mukono and Wakiso, together with AstraZeneca. The reason we are deploying AstraZeneca, we know that there are some people who had taken their first dose and they had not gotten their second dose. Therefore, that AstraZeneca is aiming to get all those people who are due for second dose to get their second dose. The ones that are starting with the first dose will be given AstraZeneca. We are starting Monday 27th of September 2021. We have designated the different places, and we expect our teams to be there by 8 in the morning, and we'll be able to run this campaign for one week up to 3rd. At the same time, national medical stores will be distributing the rest of the vaccines to the districts, and therefore we think that within 1 week the vaccines will be delivered in the districts, and the following week also the campaign should be able to start. Specific targeted groups are the vulnerable group of 4.8 million people we have been talking about. Although we have been vaccinating, but we still have a big number has not been covered. Therefore, even this time round, we are targeting that vulnerable group, for example, the teachers, the non-teaching staff, the health workers, the elderly above 50 years, those students above 18 years that are supposed to open, the schools are opening on 1st of November. We want to vaccinate the post-secondary students, and also those that have comorbidities, as we have been telling you about. No one is going to turn down anyone who does not have a national ID. However, for your complete information in our system, in our computer system, we need your national ID, because that's how we can tell the authenticity of this particular person in our system. But also, for the future, if you are going to have a booster dose, it will be much easier to go into the system. Want you to come, those of you who have first dose, to come with your vaccination card for purposes of completeness of the information, and we ask you also that if you have any other form of identification, in case you don't have national identity card, you can have some form of any other identification that we shall accept. As a country, as Ministry of Health, we encourage that you stick to the type that you took. If you took AstraZeneca first dose, ensure that you go and get your AstraZeneca second dose. If you got Sinovac, make sure that you get the Sinovac as the second dose. If you get Moderna in the district, make sure that you get Moderna as your second dose. We shall make sure that as we provide these vaccines, we keep some for the second doses so that we don't have the risk of running out of the vaccines, so that people end up mixing the doses. If you are taking your dose for the first time, you will use Pfizer at the moment, especially in Kampala. In the districts, you can take Moderna or Sinovac or AstraZeneca. We don't encourage people who completed the vaccines, who took 2 doses, to come for the booster. I think that would be more of selfishness. We encourage people who need these vaccines to come forth and get the vaccines. I also wanted to encourage, some of you had never been vaccinated, you got infected. People think that once you get infected, you do not need to be vaccinated. We want to encourage you to go, especially if you have gone above 3 months from the time you got infected. Please go and get vaccinated, because that vaccination will be acting as a booster dose for you and therefore strengthening further your immunity. So please, in case you have symptoms, please first go and get tested, and then you can come and be vaccinated if you are negative. But if you don't have any symptom, please come. You don't need to do any other test, but you'll come and you receive your vaccine. These vaccines are safe for pregnant mothers, for breastfeeding mothers, for those even that have just recovered from surgery or any other illness. They can still take these vaccines and they are safe. These are fever, headache, fatigue, running nose, coughing, sore throat, body pains, and then when it gets more severe, you start getting severe chest pain, difficulty in breathing. Some actually, they become disoriented. So when you see any of those, please go to the nearest facility and make sure that you get tested. But the commonest side effects include fever, the pain at the site of the injection, the swelling, the headache, malaise or some bit of weakness. A few have reported those symptoms. They have resolved within 24 to 48 hours. What we encourage you is to, when you get any symptom that comes after vaccination, we will give you our toll-free. You report, and then our teams will come and follow up and assess to see whether it is related to the vaccine. You'll be taken and be managed so that the symptoms are resolved. The serious side effects are very, very rare. If you remember that out of the doses we have administered to people, over 2 million doses we have administered, it's less than 0.01 of those severe cases. So that should not keep us from accessing the vaccines. We know that we have had so many myths. We have read so many things on the internet. We have heard even anti-vax sentiments. But I want to tell you that the choice is in your hands. If you choose to let this pass, unfortunately, when COVID comes, it will not differentiate. And unfortunately, the people we have seen in our hospitals very sick and those that have succumbed to COVID are those that had delayed or they had not gotten any vaccination. We don't want you to be part of those statistics.
You are watching the Doc Talk Show.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
You are watching the Doc Talk Show.
Thank you for keeping us in your living rooms this evening. And still special thanks to our producers, Quiz Mali Production House, who are doing a very wonderful job of bringing this show every week without fail. And reminding you who have just joined us, tonight we are discussing breast milk, breastfeeding, and why these things are very important for our children, who are the hope of tomorrow. And in studio tonight with me again is Mrs. Fiona Ndambuki. She's a lactation consultant. That is to do with breast milk. Before we broke off, you were telling me why husbands are competing for breast milk. Is it something you recommend? What is happening? Ugandan men and Tanzanian men are taking the lead. I don't know what's going on.
That's true. I also heard of it, and I don't think I would recommend that. First of all, not only being a breastfeeding professional, but also as a medical worker, I don't think that is healthy. You are actually making the child miss out on some important things, and you're taking them. That is being selfish at some point.
So I want to join you to tell the men out there.
Yes.
Men, it is very irresponsible of you to begin fighting for breast milk with your baby.
Yes.
That is the food that your baby needs to develop her entire system,
yes.
and especially the brain.
Yes.
So fathers, husbands, and men, please, let's stop it going forward.
Yes.
When should, I do a lot of interaction with pregnant mothers.
Yes, please.
At the clinic and all that, and we are advising them, and we're actually training doctors and the medical workers that actually breast milk should be given to the baby within 1 hour of giving birth, no matter the nature of delivery. Yes, please, just make some more mention on that.
Yes. The first milk, let me say, that very first milk that comes out, which we call medical workers the colostrum, is very important. It is like a pumped kind of milk with all nutrients that a child needs at that very first moment. Because remember, this child has been in the womb for 9 months, and there is nothing that has been going on along the digestive system. So, and the child has been depending on the mother's nutrients. So this is the time now the child is going to be able to gain or to attain his or her own nutrients. So these are the very first, it's very important for you. You don't have, the child doesn't have, it's not good for the child to miss out on that package. It's a full package of nutrients that the child needs. And it also contains, I talked about the oligosaccharides that help to align and make the linings of the stomach or of the gut of the baby to become to adhere with what is going to come next. To make it normal. I don't want to use the medical terms.
To make the stomach normal, to be able to absorb other foods that come in. For easy
digestion in the next feedings. Yes, so it is very important. So when a child misses that, the child is going to have issues with digestion in time to come. So, but the more you breastfeed, somehow you will be able to correct that. But it's very important, whether cesarean, whether normal delivery, it's very important for you to attach your child on the breast. Also, even if there is nothing that is coming, but the more they suck, there'll be stimulation of breast milk coming.
Very important. Even if nothing is coming, the more the baby suckles, it stimulates the hormone and the center in your brain that is responsible for milk production.
The challenge we get with that, doctor, is that when there is no breast milk, mothers get scared, anxious. They're like, oh, things like that. I've seen some cases whereby the children's glucose go low because there's nothing, and they tend to increase by either giving formula or anything just to make the child, not to make the child's sugars go low. But it's very important. Do not rush to give glucose or rush to give other kinds of milk just because there is no breast milk. Be patient with yourself.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay